We're being reviewed by the most important critic in the city. Now suddenly you're going to be an artist. Well, be an artist on your own time. It's my restaurant.
The kitchen is my domain. That was our deal.
The deal is now changed. Either you stay or you go.
So you're threatening to fire me now?
No, I'm telling you what I'm prepared to do if you don't cook my menu.
You didn't like what they wrote about you?
I didn't like it either.
Who cares?
I do, because I could have done better. I should have cooked food that I was gonna cook. There are chefs that cook food that they believe in, and people will try because they're open to a new experience, and they'll end up liking it.
You're never going to be happy cooking for someone else.
Food truck's a great idea. We're talking about a white-on-white 88 Chevy Grumman food truck. It's a blank canvas for your dreams. I'm gonna have them pull it around.
Thank you.
Don't thank me till you see it.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get to Watch This Podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
You're a little too quick. Like,
I'll slow it down.
We're in the same room now.
No, I'm so excited for it now.
This is our second episode in the same room. So,
all right, guys.
Yeah, so Devon's still used to talking from LA and with the delay online. So today we're going to talk about a smaller film from one of the biggest directors of the last 10 years. Or at least if you look at the films he's done, they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about the movie Chef, written and directed and starring Jon Favreau of Iron Man fame and The Lion King and a whole bunch of other things that we're going to talk about. But yeah, this is a film that I had seen a few years ago when it first came out, and really enjoyed, and have been meaning to do it for the podcast. And there's a reason that we did it while Devon was in town, which we'll get into later.
Good. We have to.
But yeah, so this is a movie I saw when it first came out on DVD because it was one of those ones where I just missed it in theaters because it didn't have a huge run from what I remember. But it was a fun movie and I really loved it. And I fell in love with the food in it. So it's part of the reason I wanted us to watch it. This was the first time for both of you watching Chef.
Yes.
What did you guys think?
Do you want me to go, Devon?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so overall, I really like this movie. I actually wouldn't mind owning it. I liked it that much, mainly for the soundtrack. It was amazing. And I'm a big fan of music videos, and I feel like this is just one giant food music video to a point. But the storyline was good. The acting was amazing. Okay. I loved what they were going for. I didn't, but I do have to admit, at first, for about the first 30 to 20 minutes, I wasn't sure I was going to end up with that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
Devon, what did you think?
We will.
So I actually didn't know about this movie until you told me about it about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago? 3 maybe?
It had to be 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
I made a thing from the movie.
And that's why I knew it, because you were like, I'm making this from Chef. And I went, I don't know what the movie is, but the food's delicious. And I figured the synopsis was, Jon Favreau owns a food truck. And for a while, I was like, this doesn't interest me. But I'm really glad I watched it.
Yeah. So the premise of the movie is Jon Favreau is a chef. It says it in the title. Not really a spoiler. But he goes on a journey where he loses his job and then has to, he buys a food truck and then travels across the country with his son. So there's a lot of different food things in here and a lot of different people that we're going to talk about. So the reason that we did this with everyone in the room is, like Devon said, I've cooked a few things from this movie before.
Yes.
The one you were talking about was I made the pork for the Cubanos from this film. And I've made that a few times, and I love it.
Yeah.
That pork is delicious.
And this is the recipe that they make when they first open the truck, right?
Yes. The mojo marinade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I get a lot of my recipes from Binging with Babish.
Yes.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
But so he did that recipe. He also did the pasta that Jon Favreau makes, which is one of the dishes I made for Devon and Ryan tonight, and then Babish got together with Jon Favreau and Roy Choi, the food consultant on this movie, and they did the molten lava cake, which plays a big part in the movie.
Yeah,
which is the other dish that I made. So we're going to talk about my
good.
cooking. So.
It was so good. Just spoiler.
Yeah.
I
so-
second Devon.
So hold on, what was the pasta dish called? Because this is the one where, like, in the movie, for those of you who've seen it, it's like Scarlett Johansson's laying seductively in bed and he just cooks her pasta, and that's all that happened ostensibly.
I'm gonna butcher the name of the pasta. Just to give me a second to look it up.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, so did I read the situation right? Because they were like all flirty, and then he was like, "Hey, let's go back to my place. I'll make you some dinner." And was it just dinner that happened there?
No. That was definitely post dinner.
You think that was post dinner?
That was post dinner, 100%.
Wait, that they banged?
That's how I took that scene.
Yeah, I think he seduces her with the food.
And that's like how
Yeah,
that's his in.
I think that's how he gets with Scarlett Johansson and Sofia Vergara.
It almost. I don't want to be rude about Jon Favreau, but like, guys, it almost has to be, right? Like these are gorgeous women, and
So here's the thing, though, is that you also like the character of the character that he was playing.
yeah,
Like, I've seen a lot of interviews with male chefs, the type of persona that he's trying to portray. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I liked it so much, is that they nailed it. They love what they do. They love their craft. They're excellent at it. And the reason why is because they're passionate about it, and they're passionate people, and they care, and they put their emotion into it. And that type of a person, when it comes to a relationship, especially when it comes to like a love affair, they're excellent people. And I feel like that has more to do with it than having like the food being the end. I feel like it's them and their personalities, and the food is like part of it.
Yeah, the food's definitely part of it. This is just a sexy movie in general. Like, you've got Scarlett Johansson look at it with her sexy eyes, and then just the food in general.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks so good that your mouth's watering from that.
I mean, I haven't eaten meat in about 2 years, and like, I wanted the barbecue in this. Like,
that barbecue.
Like real bad.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a couple times in this movie where I'm like, I'll give up meat for this, or I'll give up vegetarianism for this. Like, I'll do it.
If I had made the pork, would you have had it?
Oh yeah, I thought about that last night.
Yeah.
I mean, first out of like sheer like I need to see this because of the movie, but also like out of politeness, like I wouldn't have turned you down, but I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, no, I was careful because I know you're a vegetarian. So like, what can I make from the movie that's vegetarian?
Yeah.
So it's the pasta aglio e olio is what it's called.
You know what? I think I've seen that Binging with Babish episode.
Yeah.
That is way better than I thought it was going to be. Because it looks like just oil and pasta.
Yeah, and I messed up the recipe because I forgot to buy a fresh lemon, but I used the lemon juice and it turned out fine.
Oh, totally.
It tastes just as good as I did that when I did I did a trial run last week just to make sure I could do it all.
Oh yeah.
So
it turned out great. Like, that was really good.
Yeah, you guys helped. Like, I had Devon stirring the chocolate. I gave Ryan the tedious job of pulling parsley flakes.
Yeah, I did.
Which is
a job. Parsley.
Which is a job that they gave Jon Favreau when they were doing prep for this movie to teach him the ways of the kitchen. Oh. They had him pull the parsley leaves off of the stems just so he had appreciation for every step of the process.
So you had mentioned there was a food consultant, like. So there was like real food thought put behind this movie. Not we're making sandwiches.
So they brought in this chef named Roy Choi, who he came on and the movie became partly based on him. Like the chef Carl Jaspers was partly inspired by his story with the food truck because he had a food truck in LA that blew up and he got a restaurant from it.
Oh wow!
So. When he came on, he's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. And you're going to listen to everything I say because the movies always mess it up.
Right.
So he was very dedicated to making sure everything was realistic. Jon Favreau plated most of the things in the film that you saw. Like when he's cooking, like that's him plating. So he went through a few weeks of training to get everything right. And it's gotten to the point where they loved working with each other so much that they have a show on Netflix called The Chef Show.
Yeah.
Where the opening of the show is just like a claymation food truck.
Yeah.
The El Jefe food truck is the opening, and they do recipes from the show. They do celebrity interviews, all kinds of different things. Like this movie has spun out into like this bigger thing, which is on Netflix, but you can't get the movie on Netflix. So it's like
that's a shame. But it seems like a cool like series to watch now that I know what happens in the movie.
Yes.
especially with how much they focused on the food. I want to see more about the food then.
Yeah, there was a thing a few months ago where Gwyneth Paltrow was like, which Marvel movies was I in? Like, she's like, I wasn't in Spider-Man. And Jon Favreau was like, no, you were. I was there with you. You're in Spider-Man. That's from the Chef Show.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So,
Oh,
yeah, and season 3 is coming out soon.
I didn't know it was more than one season.
Yeah, there are 3 parts of it. The first 2 parts are out.
Yeah.
Each part's about 10 episodes or so.
Oh, that's not bad.
So there's a lot of it. And there's a lot of celebrity interviews. I watched one yesterday with Robert Rodriguez,
Oh, wow.
who evidently is like big into cooking. So
I never would have guessed.
yeah. So so Ryan, what'd you think of the food?
I thought it was great.
Okay.
Like, I second Devon on like how good it actually was. Like, I was surprised, and like you said, like it was like, this is oil and noodles with like garnish. How? But it's good. It's good.
How does it taste this good?
I don't know if I would call garlic a garnish.
No. Well,
It definitely adds to the flavor.
I'm not talking
yeah.
about the garlic. Like, to me, the
the
garlic was part of
parsley?
the oil. I'm talking about the parsley.
Well, the parsley is part of the flavor too.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
part of
but to me, parsley's garnish.
Okay.
But I'm just eating it.
So we did pair everything. I feel like this is important because Devon's in Pennsylvania and he can't get Yingling in
Not
California.
even a little bit.
So I went out a few months ago and I got the Yingling Hershey's porter that they made around the holidays and got us a growler that we just cracked open today.
It was so good. Well, I can get Hershey's, sure, like in
Yeah.
California, but like Hershey's always reminds me of here. Because like
Yeah.
this is where the chocolate factory is. And like I can't get Yingling at all. So it was like the perfect like Pennsylvania drink, I think.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
All it needs now is like river from the to be made with the rivers from Pittsburgh.
Oh gosh, then I'll die. I'll get all the poisoning.
Yeah, okay. So I haven't seen this movie in a few years, but I've made the food from it. So I've seen clips from it. There's one thing about this movie that I forgot that really struck home for me, and that was him losing his job. Because I think I've talked about it on the show before, but a few years ago I got laid off.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like lost for a bit.
Yeah.
Like career wise. And that just kind of struck a chord with me this time because he's not as put out as long as I was because I spent like 6 months unemployed looking for work. But it was something that just struck home for me. And I kind of identified with him a little bit more, even though it's 2 completely different fields.
Yeah.
I felt more for him there. I was like, I've been there. So
I mean, yeah. Was it the same kind of like dramatic fashion that you left where like,
I wish that I had thrown a lava cake in my boss's face.
well, even
No.
like the first time, like he was very much like, I'm doing things my way or I'm leaving and forget you and left. Was it like that or just like,
No, it was kind of like, hey, we're having a meeting. Yeah, you're fired.
oh, ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
It was
rough.
It was your typical company downsizing type deal.
Oh, ew.
Who knew that newspapers in 2017 were going to be downsizing?
What?
I know.
Especially their online departments.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Gross.
Yeah. So I identified with that. Was there anything in this movie that you guys identified with at all? Or
2 things. One, similar to you. I lost my job, I think, a little bit after you did.
it was about a year.
It was about a year after.
I had started working a new job in my field.
Yeah.
And like a week into that, I get a call from Ryan like, hey, so guess what just happened to me?
Oh, no, the same thing.
My thing was, and I'll say it on here. I don't care.
I was going to say, are you allowed to say what happened?
Yeah, I am. Pretty much, I'm not going to get into the actual like nitty gritty of it, but I effed up on some paperwork.
Oh, sure.
You can ask Alan though. Like I was stressed out of my mind.
Yeah.
It was not good for
You
me.
were not in a good place. That was around the
Yeah.
time where we had stopped doing the show for a bit.
Yeah, because
wow.
we
Like,
just
it was-
couldn't get time.
Yeah. And like you called me. I was picking up my wife from her job. And I was like, hey, this just happened. We're going to go buy beer, Zima and
Yeah.
pizza and go to Ryan's house. And that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where like, cause I mean, I was in retail for like 12 years. And I was like, it's decent money. I've done this for so long. I'm going to go into management. I went into management. And no.
Oh, no.
Just
didn't work
no.
out. No.
I thought I was doing okay. I thought it was just growing pains. I screwed up on the paperwork. There wasn't any way around it, so I was let go.
The CIA got called in.
Yeah.
What, really?
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was close.
Oh, my gosh.
It was...
We'll tell you the details after.
Okay,
the show.
Yeah, I'll
this
tell you the
sounds
details
intense.
later. But no, there was outside investigation in it, but it was nothing. I didn't break the law or anything. It's just I screwed up on something that I shouldn't have screwed up on.
He didn't break the law at work.
So
I'm kidding. As far as
yeah. So
It was a good disclaimer.
yeah. So like I called my wife. I called Alan, and to be perfectly honest, within 5 minutes of my drive home, I realized I don't have to go back tomorrow. I don't have to make schedules anymore. I don't need to deal with people at the customer service desk. And I literally started to laugh because I was so happy.
so you know what happened to me after I got laid off? Like I got laid off, and then the next day I had a therapy appointment.
Yeah.
In the town where I work. So I was like, "Damn it! I got to do this drive again tomorrow." Son of a bitch.
Yeah, because I mean, we were commuting to the hour, both of us, because we both worked in the same town.
Yeah.
And so we were commuting from here that hour down 81.
Wow.
I will say this though, it was worth it to walk in the next morning to my therapist and be like, "So guess what happened to me yesterday?"
Man, I'm sure.
Yeah. So how about you, Devin? Anything you identified with?
I identified with the whole father-son part of it as much.
Okay.
I wish I had a cool like being laid off story, but I don't. I mean, the most that
Here's
ever
hoping.
happened- Yeah, right. Seriously, maybe in the future, guys. But for now, no. I didn't relate to that part as much, unfortunately. But the whole like father-son part hit me like pretty hard, and the whole like the little things that in the beginning of the movie, he didn't think he was messing up with his son so bad, but it was just like this little thing and this little thing and this little thing, and those little things built up to turn into this big thing later. Like, hey, you're straight up neglecting your son now. I understand that you have these other busy things that you're doing. Understand you need to focus your attention here. And I do that a lot in my own life, a lot actually, where I get all these like little things that I do, and I get really excited about this project, or I'm going to go do this comedy thing, or I'm going to go do this thing, and I get really excited and kind of push things that I need to be focusing on off to the back burner when they really shouldn't be sometimes. And that part got me. Like, I'm like, I get what's going on here, and oh no, that's me sometimes.
And here you are doing the podcast on your vacation.
Hey, no. This is a good thing. This is not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that also goes into that second part that I identified with him, because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I go through binges where like, and not just binging like a TV show. Like, I'll get obsessed with like one thing for like a month and a half, and that's all I'll do. And then I move on to the next thing that I get obsessed with. And yeah, it's just one of those things where just things kind of get put off to the side, and the next thing you know, you're behind on something that you shouldn't be behind on.
Well, that was the one thing that got me actually about him, is he was obsessed with something, but it was always the same thing. Mm-hmm. And like his speech to his son outside of that food truck, where he was like, "Look, I know I'm not the best dad. I know I was a terrible husband, but like, this is what I'm good at." Yeah. Like, that hit me hard, not because I can relate, but because I wish I could relate. Like, I wish I could find the one thing in this world that I was like, that's what I'm killer at, man. Like, and have that talk with like little Devon, who's being neglected by me, be like, "Yeah, but have you seen me string a violin?" Like, I don't know. I'm assuming that's my strength, and I haven't tried it yet.
I think our strengths are podcasts, and we're just going to keep going.
I like it. I like it.
So one thing about this movie that I forgot to tell you guys is I remember when this movie was being made.
Okay.
Because in the movie deals with this a little bit, but when they were filming this in 2013, Vine was huge.
I was going to bring this up.
Yeah.
Okay. So on Vine, Jon Favreau went through the whole process of making this movie. Like, all the behind the scenes stuff he shot for Vine. Ripping out the food truck, that was on Vine.
Wow.
Like the new food truck, like a lot of the food stuff. I was like, what the hell is this movie? Like, I want to see this movie. So I've been invested in this since I saw those Vines. Wow. It was following Jon Favreau there because it was just one of those things. Like I've never seen the behind the scenes like this, and 7-second segments, and like,
Wow.
It was really interesting. And then I finally got to see the movie when it came out on DVD, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, because I feel like I was there for the whole thing, even though I wasn't.
We saw all the work that went into behind it.
Yeah.
That's really. Do they have the vines encapsulated
I'm
somewhere?
sure they do. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to look. I meant to, but I'll see if I can find them. I'm sure they're on his Twitter feed still.
I know that. I know that most. I know that you can find most vines on YouTube, but if they weren't saved on anything other than Vine, they're gone.
No, Vine kept everything. Like Vine was like, as far as I know, the Vines are still on Twitter. You just have to go back and find them.
Oh.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be on the DVD somewhere, right? Like if it's something that like
They
in-depth.
might be.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to grab it?
Yeah.
It's on the shelf right next to 2 or 3 over from Back to the Future.
There it is.
Yeah. So
It's the only yellow binded Blu-ray on the shelf. It's the only-
Maybe it's the featurette.
it might be.
I love that word, featurette.
Featurette. It's a good word. It's a
I like
fun
it.
word.
So since I brought up Vine, what did you guys think of the use of social media in this movie?
Okay, so
Ryan,
this
go.
is where I was going to say before, and then you stopped me about right about when he has his meltdown with the food critic. I paused because I had to use because I had to do something, and when Kristen wasn't watching the movie with me because she was watching her own thing. I walked in and I was like, so I think I can sum up this movie in a sentence. Old man doesn't know how to use social media. And I seriously thought up until that point that that's what this movie was going to be. That like, of course that he was going to like get his name back and get back at the critic, but it was going to be like social media is haunting him because he doesn't understand how to work it, because they hint at that. They hint at people are like, hey, you need to talk to this person to know what's really going on.
Right.
And all of this. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the oldest joke in the book of social media. But then it turned. Mm-hmm. And they used this movie. If you want to look at the movie from a purely social media perspective, which I thought this movie was going, which it didn't, but this is where I thought it was going. So if you continue with that mindset, they show the damage it can do, but then they also show the good it can do. But anyway, like that's what I thought. Like for a while there, I wasn't sure about the film, but then the relationship between him and his son, between him and his buddy, which I love the fact that John Leguizamo is in this because he's one of my favorite. Like he is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, I remember you saying from John Wick.
Yeah. Like he is one of my favorite actors, and so seeing him in it just totally made it better. And then seeing the friendship go back and forth, and yeah, I mean, but the one thing that made me is I like memes. I like social media. I'm on social media a lot, and one of the things that I'm a little bit upset over is the fact that Vine is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
I miss Vine.
So when
now we've
when
got
the kid
TikTok.
yeah.
Ugh.
Is it not the same?
It's not.
It's not. So when the kid was like, yeah, no, I'm posting on Vine. And I was like, oh, I miss Vine. Like he said that, and I'm like, oh, this movie's dated already, because social media can change at the drop of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's like there's movies out there that mention social media that was made in like the early millennium, and they mention MySpace instead of Facebook. And it's like, oh, this is so dated.
Yeah.
I did like that they use social media as that, like, kind of to show that Jon Favreau, like, his son has something to add to the conversation too, though. Like, that he is just as valuable a member as everyone else that's here. He's not just the son tagging along. And I think that makes him respect his son a little bit more, especially in the scene in New Orleans where he was like, they're here because of you, not because of me. And like that was really cool. Like that, I like that.
Like you did this. Like you did a great job. Like I'm so proud. Like because it like they show. I don't think that you get that payoff if you don't have him not knowing what social media is at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which I hated it at first, but then I started to love it with the whole. Oh, and they showed like the little birds, and they would show what the people were typing. on the top. At first, when I thought this movie was just going to be old man doesn't know how to use social media, at first I hated it because I was like, where's this coming from? Where were the birds before? Where was all of this like typing above your head thing? And then as the movie got on, I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. I really like this.
So I was actually thinking about that because the typing above your head thing happens in a lot of stuff. Like I've seen, it's not the first time I've ever seen it. Was there any time where you guys didn't think it worked? Because I thought of a specific instance where I actually really didn't like it.
I thought it worked pretty well. They didn't rely on it too much.
Yeah.
Which time didn't you like it though?
Not in this movie. I didn't like in the world.
Oh, in the world.
Yeah, because I've seen this trick a lot, like in a lot of things. And if nobody knows or anyone's apathetic, I didn't like it in the new Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch.
They overused it.
Yes, and I think that's why. Like, I think it was a little bit too much. I don't think it needed it for anything. I thought it was their way of being like, guys, it's the future. Guys, look at us typing things. And it's like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
But like, because I've seen that gimmick used before, I think.
But the thing is, to me, I'm very skeptical of social media being used in movies at the moment.
Sure.
Because I have an automatic, for some reason, and I don't know why this happens, because I'm on social media all the time. I have an instant turn off to this new thing of like horror movies made based around social media.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like the black web or like the dark web and everybody's on their laptops. There's only one movie I ever watched that I actually enjoyed with that whole setup, and I can't remember the name of it. Kristen had me watch it a while ago. I mentioned it to you, Alan, but I don't remember if you remember me talking about it. But it's something that I just get a huge like turn off on.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why I was kind of like I became cynical.
Yeah.
At first, because I'm like, oh, are they really doing this? Like, is this really how he's going to end his career, by saying you wouldn't know a good meal if it sat on your face, and he's thinking it's going to be a private? Because as soon as he typed it and hit send, I knew.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was going to blow up in his face.
Well, actually, I did. So part of me actually really liked that because I felt like I knew something he didn't. So like a lot of the time I'm like, I understand what he thinks he's doing. I understand what he's really doing. I see that smug face in him go directly to bed. Oh no, this is going to end terribly. And in my mind, it's like that countdown clock to like, uh-oh, when's this going to... And like, for me, that added more suspense to, or any amount of suspense to a movie that didn't have too much of it. Like, it's not a suspenseful movie.
Like, there's no true villain.
No, there really isn't.
No, there isn't. Honestly, if there is an antagonist or if there is a villain,
it's the molten lava cake. It's the molten lava cake.
Well, not even that. I mean, I'm gonna say that it's his own ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the villain, is the fact that he reacts.
Or you could say it's Dustin Hoffman.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because he's the one who's no, you're cooking my menu. Like, you're not going off book.
You're cooking the hits.
He is the owner of the restaurant, though. That is the industry. But I mean, at the same time, like, it was one of those things where that job, even though it probably paid well and he was doing what he enjoyed, it wasn't what he was meant to do, and that's where that friction came from.
It's like the same thing I keep saying about Star Wars. If you're going to hire a chef to cook in your kitchen, let them do what they do best. Like, trust their instincts.
Yeah.
Don't be like, no, you have to stick to this and this and this. Give them some leeway. Let them do what they want to do, because their instincts, even if it doesn't work out, fine. But at least they're doing what they want to do. Like, don't put them in a position where you're making them do something they don't want to do, because then you lose the passion for it, and that's what happens in this.
Yeah.
So
I've never worked in the restaurant industry ever, so I don't really know how this relationship works. But like, was Jon Favreau totally in the wrong there when he was like, I'm doing what I want to do. I don't care that you're the owner. It's my kitchen. You listen to me.
I don't think he was completely in the wrong. From the sound of it, they had made a deal early on that he would have more say in the menu, and it just never happened that way.
Okay. Yeah, because the owner even said that. He was like, look, that was the agreement. I'm changing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to do my menu. And then, of course, he kind of puts the sous chef on the spot.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, he can do it. And he's just like, to be honest, I would have reacted the same way.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been like, I really don't want to be involved in this. Why am I being put into this?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's the voice in the back of the head's like, this means a promotion. I get the kitchen, but I don't want to make anybody mad. So I'm just going to stand here awkwardly and apologize later, which is exactly what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Just exactly.
So did you guys recognize the sous chef?
No.
I did,
Okay.
but
I'll tell you where you know him from.
okay, where do I know
It's
him
Bobby Cannavale. I think I'm pronouncing his name right.
What?
He's an Ant-Man. He plays the cop who's married to Paul Rudd's ex-wife.
Oh.
He's the selfish boyfriend in Bone Collector.
Oh,
Yes.
is he?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the one that tells Anna he's the one that tells Jolie that my therapist says I need to work on me. To her.
Good.
So yeah, that's him.
Wow.
One of the many, many MCU actors who show up in this, because Jon Favreau directed the first 2 Iron Mans. So he made some friends.
Oh, I didn't know he directed both of them.
Yeah, he directed 1 and 2 and then was just a producer on 3.
So I was wondering, when does this fit in the Marvel timeline?
Okay.
Is this after 2?
This was after 3.
Wow. Okay. So they were pretty in it.
Yeah. So this is probably, they filmed this 2013. So it was like right after the Avengers.
Okay.
So let's go through them. So we have Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who plays Black Widow and is the wine connoisseur hostess.
Sommelier. Hostess?
Sommelier, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
We have Bobby Cannavale,
yeah.
Jon Favreau, who plays
Of course.
Happy Hogan. Robert Downey Jr., who I think was Iron Man for a minute.
Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's a good reaction.
Was there anyone else?
I'm trying to think.
Dustin Hoffman hasn't been in it yet.
There probably is a lot of other ones. We're just missing it right now.
Yeah.
I did make the joke when we were watching it yesterday for the show. I was like, there's no pepper in it, but there's a lot of pepper in it because he's cooking.
Oh.
And I kid you not, like 5 minutes later, I get a text from my dad, like, bring pepper to dinner. Like, he was out of ground pepper. I was like, oh my God, what are the odds?
What are the odds?
Yeah, so I forgot Robert Downey Jr. was in this.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was at all.
Yeah. Oh, the critic is in the X-Men movies, if we're counting that. He's in First Class.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't know that. Who is he in First Class?
He plays the CIA guy who's like working with
He does.
McCoy, and he's like, "You're not a mutant, are you? Why didn't you tell me?" Like
Yeah. He looks so familiar.
yeah. Oliver Platt. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. He has one of those faces. I'm like, I've seen him around.
Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Have you seen Bicentennial Man?
I have.
Okay.
I just forget it.
Yeah. So did you guys read who was in it before you watched
No.
it? Or? Okay.
I looked at the faces on the cover
Okay.
before you told me not to look.
Yeah.
And I did anyway because the faces were there.
So wait, who does it give away on the cover? I have it in front of
Yes.
me. Let me.
Yeah. So everyone's there.
Oh, it gives away like everyone.
Yeah. I forgot Robert Downey Jr. was in this for one scene.
It was a good scene though. He plays
Yeah.
a good part.
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just him playing himself.
Yeah,
Like, I
probably.
see a lot of Tony Stark in that.
yeah.
But I think that's just their banter because they worked together on 2 movies at that point.
Yeah.
So, well, 3 movies because they did Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, right.
He did Iron Man 3 too?
I mean, he's in it. He didn't direct it. Shane Black
Oh,
directed
okay,
Iron Man
okay.
3.
I was gonna say
He just plays Happy in it.
because 3 felt a lot different than the first 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about Marvel people in this movie, I want to know if you guys feel like Scarlett Johansson's character got like completely thrown away in the movie the way I did, because I thought they'd at least show her like at the wedding with someone else, but they just ignored her. I thought.
I feel like she didn't need to be at the wedding because she ends her run with her development with him because she's not leaving that restaurant.
Right.
Like that's her job. And that's one of those things where it's like that was a fling. That was something that they made it obvious that was something that was going to happen that they were pushing off.
Yeah.
That they were pushing off, that these two were going to end up doing what they did for a long time. And eventually he was like, with the day that I had, screw it, I'm going to make you dinner, which also coincides to them having like a one night stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's awkward to have your from when you were separated at your second wedding.
I mean, that's true. But also, I just wanted to see what her character was doing, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she plays a good character.
She was off playing an agent in something else, and they couldn't get her back for this.
I mean, I totally get that.
Because that was her career for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
But, yeah. So, what's your guys' opinion on Dustin Hoffman? Because I've heard some stuff.
Oh, no, have you?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't have much of an opinion. Like, he's one of, like, the classic actors that, like, everyone knows that's in everything. And, like, I don't...
From what I hear, he can just be a prick.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what? That comes off. You can, like, that doesn't surprise me. Like, Outbreak is one of my favorite, like, disaster movies.
How do you feel about seeing it play out?
You know what? No. Okay, so for that, for what's going on right now,
Yeah.
not Outbreak, but Plague Inc., that app video game, that is more like dead on to what's going on right now than before. I actually told somebody on Facebook, I was like, whoever designed Plague Inc. deserves an award of some kind, because with the news that's coming out, how it's spreading, I feel like I'm living in somebody's like
Version of it
that they're playing before bed. Like, I'm waiting to see an orange marker in the sky one day as of a DNA symbol.
Only it's not called, like, the like disease isn't called, like, stupidity or something like that. Although I've seen whole news articles that are like, please stop comparing this to Plague Inc. It's like everyone's doing that now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
It's just because of how the news is coming out,
Yeah.
and how they're saying where it's like, you know, like
Popping
being
up.
found. But anyway, like, I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm just saying it's similar. But
Yeah.
anyway, when it comes to him,
The other thing is, we're recording this on the 27th of January, and this is probably coming out in like 2 weeks. So
Right.
yeah. So when it comes to him, like, Outbreak is my favorite movie of his that I can think of at the moment. And he's an older actor. He's one of the more established people in Hollywood. So if he's one of those people that kind of like makes everybody else work off his clock, like, to me, it makes sense. It's just part of the personality of like somebody who gets to that level,
Okay.
you know?
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had like more, like, I want him, because he was in so much, I want him to be like Tommy Lee Jones in my mind, but I like Tommy Lee Jones way better. And like, I'm sure he's a jerk off set too, and I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard any horror stories about Tommy Lee Jones.
No, I haven't either, really. He might be a gem.
Except for the fact that he was in Men in Black 3.
He was in that?
Men in Black 3? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought just like young version of him was.
No, it's both.
Oh no. Tommy Lee
Even
Jones.
I would say even like Christian Bale, I know about his freak out during the filming of Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
Does it make me not like him as an actor? No, I still like his movies.
Did it make that movie any better? No.
Also no.
As far as I'm concerned, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh wow.
It's
I really
fine.
like Salvation.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
He's not the problem with that movie.
No. There were other things that are problems with it. His performance in it's good. I feel like Salvation is what I wanted when I was a kid. I want to see what this future is.
Yeah.
And that's what I got, and that's what I'm happy with.
It's a lot better than Genesis.
I'll take your word for it.
Was that the Emilia Clarke
I didn't
one?
want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
She was fine in that movie.
Oh, okay. Just the rest of it.
The problem with that movie is they gave away the twist in the trailers.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh.
But did you know it was the twist before seeing the movie?
Yes.
No, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, okay, it's in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think you guys care enough to see it.
No.
They give away that when John Connor comes back to the past, he's a Terminator. Like, they shoot him and they're all like, what? You're a Terminator now? And so the John Connor's the bad guy.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh. But then that's not canon anymore. So it doesn't
It's
matter.
not.
Yeah.
No. So, but then again, neither is 3 or Salvation. So
That's
I don't.
okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The fact that Salvation's not canon doesn't bother me, because I just wanted a movie that just kind of show what life was like after Doomsday,
Yeah.
or after Armageddon, that's what I got.
they can say it's not canon anymore. It still exists.
Yeah.
Just like the Star Wars Legends books still exist.
Right.
Yeah,
There's no getting rid of that. So to somebody, that's their story. Like that's what happens. Like there's no Ben Solo. It's the twins that Luke and Leia or Han and Leia have.
Yeah,
it's called it's called having headcanon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of headcanon, my wife's reading some right now.
It's not headcanon. It's like fiction.
Okay.
Doesn't make it better.
We're not going to go in the details.
Oh,
but,
no. So did this make you guys want to open a food truck?
Oh, God, yes.
Because it kind of did for me, too.
I'm not. I am okay. So, I like good food.
Yeah.
I like watching people who are who know how to cook make good food. I am not a cook. Like, I will follow instructions to make dinner, but my anxiety spikes too much for fear that I'm going to ruin something for me to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
So
see, like I didn't know how much you cooked until I was cooking in the kitchen. You were standing there. I was like, "Hey, do you know how to peel garlic?" He's like, "I've never peeled garlic."
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
And like I love to cook.
Yeah.
Like I stress myself out with it sometimes too much. But like this past Thanksgiving was the first year I cooked the whole meal by myself for my family, and it was exhausting, but I had a ball.
Yeah.
Doing it. I loved cooking for you guys tonight.
Oh yeah.
I just like to cook. I've cooked for you before. I've cooked for both of you before.
Yeah.
So it's something I like to do. I would love to open a food truck like when I retire. Like like if you opened a food truck in LA and told me about it, I would fly out and help you.
That would be so
like
cool.
I would just show up like John Leguizamo does in this movie, not explained at all, and the timeline makes no sense. But I would just show up way sooner than I could have. Like you get off the phone with me, I'm there in an hour.
Right.
Like I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. Let's do this.
I would too, because like I forgot. So I said I'd never worked in a food business. I worked in a pizzeria, which is the food business. But I was like low man on the totem pole making pizzas, and like I would do that again in a second. Like Romana's dad and I joke about opening up our own pizzeria, like if he moves here, and like I would totally open up a pizza food truck. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah, and it's like if cooking didn't make me so anxious and fear that I'm going to like ruin something, I would probably enjoy it a lot more. But I love watching professionally classed people cook, like in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I think I mentioned before to you guys, like this was a food music video. Like I love the music, and I for some reason jazz and ethnic music fit with cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just to me, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I hear jazz or the type of music they're playing in this, and
Latin
even
music,
and even if they weren't cooking, I would be thinking of cooking. Like just
because in general.
Just because to me, like those two things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the soundtrack on while I was cooking. I love the soundtrack to this.
Yeah.
It's such a good soundtrack.
It was weird that we were all in the kitchen together, and the first song I put the soundtrack on shuffle. The first song that came on was "Sexual Healing."
That scene though is great.
It's so good.
There's one scene in here that we, my wife and I quote all the time, and have since we saw it the first time. Anytime we go to get cornstarch out of the cupboard, one of us makes a hush puppies joke.
So hold on, does that work?
The chafing thing?
The cornstarch?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically.
I may have not dipped my balls in soy sauce, but I've tried that and it works.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's what people do the same thing with baby powder. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
It's like, have you ever touched cornstarch?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's just that texture. It just
all works.
Yeah.
Oh, because the whole time I was like the little kid. I was like, really?
Yeah. I mean, I got some in the kitchen if you want to go test it out.
Oh, we will. Don't worry.
Okay.
Or I will.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So was there any dish in this that stood out to you that you were like, oh my God, I want that in my mouth now? Sticking the food.
Is it besides the cornstarch balls?
Yeah. Hush puppies.
Hush puppies. Then definitely the barbecue.
Okay.
They were like cutting the pieces of. Oh man, like that got me.
Yeah.
They got me good.
Ryan?
The barbecue and the sandwiches they were making at the when they were giving the food to the construction workers.
Okay. The Cubanos.
Yeah, that like I am a sandwich guy, Like you want me to try something? Put it in between two nice slices of like bread, and just like add stuff to it.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing.
I feel like in the next month or two, I'll have to make that pork again, and we'll have cubanos.
You should, yeah. And I'll make a fake version.
I'm trying to think. Like you could. Well, they make that impossible pork now, don't they?
And I'm going to do that.
Yeah, there you go. Or you could try it with like watermelon.
That might
Like
be
the
really good too. I heard
watermelon
that's
steak.
a pretty good analog.
Yeah,
So what food did you like? So is there a food that's on this that you haven't made that you like needed?
the grilled cheese.
Yes.
That grilled cheese looked fantastic, and I think they did it on the chef show, right, honey?
The grilled
Okay,
cheese.
yeah.
Well, so what's been good about it? Was it the mayonnaise on? Was it mayonnaise?
I think it was mayonnaise, but like just all that cheese and like the crunch that he gets from it.
When you hear the knife go, oh
Yeah.
man, this
It just looks so good.
this is like food porn the movie.
It
but,
is.
Like, with a
Like,
better
I was
plot.
gonna say, he's saying it's a food music video. I think it's food porn.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So ever since I saw that episode of South Park, I can't think of food and porn together without thinking of the one character's dad.
Oh no, which character?
There is an episode where was it one of the fathers gets obsessed with like cooking shows.
With the cream fraiche?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's the same episode with the shake wake joke.
Yep.
Yeah. So I can't like to me
They have
that
to be kept separate.
that is kept separate. That joke ran its course for me.
You're good.
The whole food porn thing to me, this is like just like food glamour because like I'm not a food channel person. I don't watch cooking shows. I try. I really do. Just like that Great British Baking Show thing that
Yeah.
you said you really liked.
Yeah.
I tried watching it. I can't.
Sure.
Like I'm not somebody that's like that. But the way that they shot this movie for all of the cooking, like they're not explaining what they're doing and they're not adding any drama. It's just they're showing somebody who's trained doing what they know how to do, and they're making it more dramatic.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. Like that's how I like to see food getting prepared.
So, Devin, what food shows do you watch?
I watch Binging with Babish. I watch so a lot of the food kind of game shows. Like I'll watch Cutthroat Kitchen, Master Chef, Great British Baking Show. Not too many like how-tos that aren't just on YouTube. Like I'll watch a lot of the YouTube cooking shows.
Okay. Have you ever watched Chopped?
Yeah, I love Chopped.
Yeah, Chopped's one of my
Chopped
go-tos.
is really good.
Sometimes I like to play Chopped, just see what I have in the kitchen, see what I can make.
Oh, that's me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm ever doing.
Yeah, for me, it's Binging with Babish. I like some of the Gordon Ramsay shows. He has one called 24 Hours to Hell and Back,
That's a fun one.
because the premise of that is he goes into a restaurant that's failing, kicks the staff out for a day, and like redoes the whole restaurant, changes the whole menu, and like it's like part hell's or not part kitchen nightmares, part like renovation, like just
Yeah.
more renovation show, like but like in a timeline.
Well, and I like that they did mention Hell's Kitchen in this. Like they could have
Yeah.
gotten him a spot on it. That would have been fun.
Yeah, what did Sofia Vergara do that she had a publicist?
I think she's vaguely famous in this. I don't think
Okay.
they talk about it, right? Did they?
Is she a
say what
model?
was-
They mentioned something about her having money.
Yeah.
Like he said something about like that's your mom's money or something. I don't really know what she does. I mean,
She's either a model or an actress, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
she's the wife of she's the daughter of a mobster. I don't know.
Yeah. So wait, why? So that was my thing. If she's like a model or an actress, which I figured she was something vaguely famous that like people knew her. Why was she working the food truck? Was
Because
it,
she wanted to.
I think it's just a family thing.
you think it was
Yeah.
a family time?
Yeah, because like my grandfather had a restaurant for a while, and
Yeah.
like the whole family helped out.
Oh,
When
really?
he first opened, like my uncle, I remember it was my uncle and I in the kitchen, late night cooking up food for the bar crowd.
Oh, wow.
So like frying stuff on the grill, deep fryers. We had my brother doing dishes, and he's like 10 years younger than me, so he was like 8 at the time.
Wow.
Like we were all just everyone pitched in. So I think it's just one of those family restaurant type things where everyone helps out, and like there's a big crowd there, so any extra help you can get.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, from somebody, like I said, I just watched this, but I know that we've been talking about the food and this and that. The kind of the beat of the storyline a little bit, and something that I thought of after watching this and thinking about the film And I was thought about stuff that I've mentioned before about other films about how like my anxiety kind of sparks sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if I get drawn into a film and like I get to the point of where like I need to step out of the room sometimes because I'm too invested and like something might be happening that might embarrass the main character. Like I can feel that.
Yeah.
I thought of myself like, this is like after the first like bad part where he like loses his job and he walks out, I was so expecting something else to happen, like another thing to happen to kind of like draw him back a little bit, because I was like, that can't be the only thing that like drives the storyline, right? But it was, and made me think like on my anxiety scale, this movie is maybe like a 2.5 out of 5. And I was thinking to myself like, I could rate movies by their anxiety level.
So where was this one?
Like a 2.5
out of 5.
Because I mean like all of the anxiety in it happens like almost towards the beginning where he loses his job, and even then it's not like he loses his job in front of, well, I mean he does lose his job in front of everybody, but like the anxiety part happens and they kind of show you as they show you as it's happening.
Yeah.
So it's not like a blind side. So like, you know, he's walking into the restaurant because he called ahead. Uh-huh. You know, he's going to flip out on him because he's so upset. But after that, that's it.
Right.
It's just him building himself back up again. And it's fun and it's funny. And I would say the only anxious part I had was when the cops showed up. To like check his permit because I mean, I was so expecting him to like slip up again because, you know, like he was doing so well and then that would happen. But it was just a cop that wanted to take every selfie that he could think of, which I was so expecting. Like if I was there and I was one of the people that was waiting to get food and some cop was doing that, I would have so yelled out, "Get off the effing truck!"
Right.
Like, because I'm in a crowd and he couldn't really point me out because like, stop it. You're abusing your power. Like,
Alan, did you hate the cop part?
It just went on for too long. Like there's the rule of 3, and it broke the rule of 3 a bit, and I was like,
true,
okay, just stop.
Yeah.
So did you guys like? I mean, I'm assuming Alan, you did, but I know that you're a little bit, Brian, are a little more picky with humor. Did you like the humor in this movie?
Oh, I love the humor in this. Yeah, I mean, it was well timed. Everything fit. All of the humor between him and his son fit.
Yeah.
The type of humor that they were using for how old he was fit for the fact. I mean, like the guy's a chef.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known chefs. This fits for like the type of people that I know.
Yeah.
And I love the fact how they gave him tattoos. They gave him tattoos on his fingers, and I loved how they showed their hands getting beat up. When they would first start, they'd be fine, and then, of course, as they go, they would show little dinks and bruises and cuts because they're working real fast. I love that aspect because it's showing that the actors were actually cooking for these people.
Yeah.
Like the first scene before they even do anything, John Leguizamo has a whole bandage on his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So,
and I loved how, like, he was like, "Hey guys, I was told that you could help me move the stuff into the truck," and they just stare at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Vigo shows up and he tells them, like, in Cuban that, "Hey guys, if you help me out, I get best sandwiches you ever had." And you're like, "Oh, okay." Everybody gets up and walks over to help out.
Did they actually translate it in the version you saw?
No, they didn't. But
did they translate in the version you saw?
No.
Okay, so this is actually funny. I had Romana's dad in the room with me watching this, and Romana's dad speaks Italian, which is close enough to Spanish that he got most of the words. They also threatened to deport them.
They did.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
They said, "Yeah, I'll make you the best sandwiches in the world. Also, help me or don't help me, and we'll call like immigrant services on you." I had no idea. I'm so glad he was there. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I love how they do stuff like that because I'm pretty sure that coming from Jon Leguizamo, that's got to be really funny.
Oh yeah,
because I've
absolutely.
seen his stand-up that he did on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
and I thought it was amazing. Where he's talking about his son and like like people that that like his son can look up to and like the heritage of his people and everything.
Yeah,
it's really good. I highly recommend it.
I'll have to.
But knowing that that's him, that makes it even funnier.
Oh yeah. So I did have one question that this made me think about because I have an embarrassing story for this, and I can start if you want. But
okay,
what are your guys' most embarrassing food stories? Because I have a pretty bad one. If you guys want me to tell it.
Go ahead and tell yours. I'll have to think for a minute.
All right. So at one point in time, I was living with friend of the show, Chad, and I had decided to make General Tso's chicken. Like I really wanted to, and the recipe calls for cut red pepper, right? And I didn't have cut red pepper, but me being the opportunist, I had red pepper flakes.
Oh God!
And I go, oh, this is the same. So what you have to do is you have to saute cut red pepper in the pan for about 5 minutes, right? So I heat up a lot of oil, and I figured one red pepper is about a cup of red pepper flakes.
Oh God!
Yeah. So I take a cup of red pepper flakes and put it in this burning hot oil and literally make pepper gas. I was talking to Romana. We were Skyping during it, and all of a sudden I just go, and then it got to the point where Chad and I couldn't breathe in our apartment, and I had to open the windows, and we left for pizza. And had to let the apartment air out because we almost died.
Oh man!
Yeah, that's my worst food story, guys.
I'm really trying to keep my mouth away from the mic right now.
Oh man! Good. I don't think I have anything that bad. Can you think of anything that I've done?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, what did you do?
Okay, so this was a mistake that me and another kid made when I was in Boy Scouts. We were making dinner and we were cabin camping.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of the like 4th year scouts from the troop, so we were all like the same age.
Yeah.
And so it was him and my turn cooking dinner that night.
Sure.
So instant mashed potatoes was part of it because we were making like hamburger helper or something,
sure.
like with like the camping stoves. And I'm dyslexic, and it called for like a cup of flour, I think, or some type of like mixing agent to like make the mashed potatoes like fluff up a little bit.
Sure.
I read it as salt.
Oh no!
We turned the instant mashed potatoes into Play-Doh.
Let me tell. I have two, and then you can come over and tell it to the microphone. You can come over and okay. All right. So I've got two. They're nowhere near as bad. So right after graduation in college, we went to my grandfather's house, and he had me put together a grill. So I put together this grill for him, put it back on his back porch, and he's like, "Here, make these burgers." So I had turned on the grill on high just to burn off everything, just to test it out, and it got really hot. I didn't realize it hadn't cooled down a lot. Those were the darkest burgers I've ever had in my life. To this day, he still gives me shit for it. Because this is my grandfather who's the chef. He's like, what the hell is this? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't like my hot dogs that burnt. But Anna was like, this is perfect. Like, and then the other one, her family makes a dish called baba. Okay. It's the best way I can describe it is like a bread pudding with bacon and eggs, and
oh my gosh,
it's delicious.
You're the second person I've actually heard about that. That's awesome. I know this.
So I made it.
Yeah.
We got the recipe finally, and I made it, and then I forgot to add like a cup of water.
Okay.
So it came out. I was like, something's off. Like the taste is there, but the texture's not right. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot to add the cup of water. And it's bread, so it bakes and it's just all dry. I was like, this is close, but it's not. And I was like, that's what it was.
Oh, and it was just something easy too.
Oh. No, it wasn't water. It was milk. It was milk. It was milk. I forgot.
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
So there's something that my wife and I make about maybe like twice a month. And it's you put chicken breast in a crock pot with salsa and something else, and it's supposed to like marinate like in its own juices, and then you can tear apart the chicken to make like tacos and stuff. The first time she left me instructions to make it, I put everything in, and I'm like, this looks bad. Like this looks like it's missing something. So I put in like a glass of water into it, and it's supposed to cook for like 10 hours for for like 8 hours. I pretty much slowly boiled the chicken breast solid.
So it was like really gross by the time it came out.
Yeah, so instead of being able to like peel it apart with like a fork to like put in the tortilla and everything, like it was just like 2 hard cooked chicken breasts floating in like chicken water with like salsa. It was like
Floating in chicken water.
You made chicken hard candy.
yeah, pretty much.
All right. What do you got? Yeah.
Am I close enough? Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit closer.
Okay. So my dad's not really a cook. Alan knows this, but he makes like 3 things. He makes bologna and egg sandwiches. Yes. He makes spaghetti and
Buffalo wings.
And buffalo wings. And so when he was, I believe it was when he was still working at the prison, he made buffalo wings for like his crew, like the other people there. There was like a picnic or something. And so he had to like quadruple the recipe. So he gets like the extra wings, he gets the extra hot sauce, all the stuff. And he's like, all right, so there was supposed to be 4 teaspoons of hot sauce in it. Right? Which is fine. And he's like, oh, well, like 4 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So he's like, I can just put in 1 tablespoon. And so he's like, whoop, tablespoon. And then he repeated that 4 times. So he got to whatever picnic or whatever it was. And the guys are eating it. And they're like, oh my God, Bogetti. Like, what's wrong? Like, geez, like you were made of something. And my dad is like, you pussies. Like, what do you mean you can't handle these wings? Like, they're not that bad. They're mild. And so, like whatever, the party goes on, and my dad finally has wings after he's been making fun of these guys all night because, like, what's wrong with you people? And he gets the, like, plate of wings, and, like, the wings were... Describe what I'm doing, because I don't know how. Like, they were, like, that far away from him. So... like he puts the wings like on the plate and he doesn't even pull the plate and he like knew he was in trouble because his sinuses cleared immediately. Like, they weren't even up here, they were like down, like his palm extended. And so he got himself through it and he played like there was nothing wrong, but like his eyes were watering and he was like, what did I do? And he had to think back and was like, oh my God, like I used my logic to get like not do, and then I went and put 4 times as much hot sauce in them. And then served them to people, and the people ate them. They were like, you know, it kind of grows on you, but but yeah. So that was his, where he's like, oh yeah, you got to be careful. Like never again. Like now he's just like, nope, 4 teaspoons. Like he does not do the conversion.
I remembered another one that involves you.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What did I do?
So growing up, we would always have a Memorial Day parade go by my house, and one year, you and I were in charge of cooking the hot dogs. And they were so undercooked because that grill was so finicky because it was a charcoal grill. And we couldn't, it wasn't hot enough, but they're like, it's hot enough. Go cook the hot dogs.
Yeah.
It wasn't hot enough. So we weren't able to cook the hot dogs. My mom ended up sticking them all in the oven to heat them up the rest of the way.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that grill was so bad. Like the one time my dad ran out of lighter fluid, so he took the gas can.
Oh no.
Lit the whole can on fire, threw it into the yard. There was a brown patch of grass there for 3 years.
Your dad might be my hero. That's amazing.
All right, Devon.
Did I do something wrong?
Yeah, move your microphone. Oh, like turn it on and off once.
There we go.
It got bumped.
Yeah, it's
okay.
back.
Gotcha, it's better.
Yeah,
it's back.
Okay.
Yeah, I got bumped there. I'll have to cut that out.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I can't think of any other stories.
No,
so
I think that's.
I mean, it's. I loved. There were certain things in this movie that I really liked, and there were just kind of like laugh out loud moments where they get done with the truck and they're sitting in front of it, you know, drinking and smoking, and there's like 4 or 5 moments that I want to talk about. One is the son going, "What? Can I have some beer?" And then like the chef's friend is like joking, like, "Yeah, sure, you can have it. You're one of us now." And Favreau, he's like, his kid, he tells me like, "You know what, a sip." And the son does the typical like taking a sip of beer and like like, "Oh, this is disgusting." And then he takes the beer, he's like, "Good, remember that the next time somebody tries to offer you some when you're in high school or something like that." There was that part, and then when they leave. And the buddy's like, "No, I know a guy. He'll get us hooked up. I'll get it painted. Don't worry about it." And they go, and it comes back, and the thing's got rims and a sound system and the paint. And I'm just like, and he's just driving it, and I'm just like, oh yeah. And like that was good. But then it reminded me of something. Mm-hmm. This came out in 2013.
2014, yeah.
2014? Okay. Was there like a fad or a thing about like taco trucks around like the turn?
Because Roy Troy's food truck hitting it big started like this whole resurgence of food trucks.
Okay. Because this movie made me think of the movie Turbo. That animated movie about the snail.
Oh.
That like does the whole like race car thing.
Yeah.
It's cars, but it's a snail and it's IndyCar racing. But the human that the snail makes a friend with is one of two brothers that own a taco stand and they have a taco truck.
Oh, nice.
And they drive the taco truck from California to Indy for the Indy 500.
Yeah.
And it just, that whole road trip thing reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I feel like Turbo is a very underrated movie.
I've never seen it.
It's
I've never seen it either.
Uh-oh. Might be those guys.
I know that car things really aren't like your guys' thing, but it's not a car-based movie like Fast and the Furious or Cars. Like,
It's a snail-based movie.
It's a snail-based movie who gets, through an accident, becomes natricized.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we'll have to keep that one in mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't got anything else on Chef. I think we're at a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of different things that I found funny with it. But
yeah,
I mean,
definitely check out the Chef Show if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
haven't yet, because it's real. If you enjoyed the movie, there's a lot more to it. Like they tell some behind the scenes stories, and like it takes them 3 tries to get beignets right on the show,
Oh, wow.
which is it's a fun journey. So. So make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And wherever you're listening to this podcast, do us a favor and rate and review us. We read the comments. We love hearing from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I've got. So for You Have to Watch This Podcast, I'm Alan,
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
and we'll see you next week.